They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. 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 They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Pretty cool feature.
And welcome to a Halloween or an All Hallows Eve version of News from the Pew. It's the internet, and we talk about things. I am your host, Rick Barrett, cordially known as the Armed Catholic, and I am joined by the spookiest godfather of all YouTube and Catholic alternative media, the one and the only Stephen Cunningham. And we got some stuff to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, and I think you're going to enjoy it. And if not, I don't care. You're going to enjoy it anyway. So
you're going to trick or treat him?
You're just going to shut up and enjoy it. It's a treat and a trick for you, haha, as they say. But so obviously we got a lot of things to get to, but I think the most consequential and far-reaching was it wasn't Rogan. We'll get to Rogan in a minute, but it happened last week when Trump had his rally at Madison Square Garden, and you had this guy, Tony. I forget his last name. I don't know how to say it, but Kalinsky or something like that. He's on his show is wildly popular. Kill Tony on YouTube. If you've ever seen Shane Gillis do his Trump impression on Kill Tony, that's where you see it most of the time, which is absolutely hysterical. Yeah, so you had this take place at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally, which was actually pretty impressive when you think about it. But in case you missed it, here's the actual joke. It's my spooky can. You can tell that
I thought it was hysterical.
I think, the thing is, but like with Stewart doing that is comedians will defend their own, because it's kind of like police protecting their own, because they can all find themselves in that situation sooner rather than later. But secondly, it's kind of funny how they're starting to actually throw Kamala and that campaign under the bus, because we all know the fact that it looks like, and we'll talk about this throughout the show, that she's probably going to lose. But Steve and I already said that America's next top president has already been chosen. It's President Trump. Once again, we'll get to that in a bit. But the fact is, the campaign thought they had this, or the legacy media, like, oh, we're gonna say Trump. This is the moment, the garbage moment. We're gonna try and get all the Puerto Ricans and all the Latinxes and all the other ones to vote against Trump. And then I don't know if Steve has it. Joe Biden came out with I don't know if he hates Kamala or if he likes Kamala or if he's just old and stuttering and he doesn't care anymore. But then he decided to drop the greatest clip of all time on a Zoom call, nevertheless.
Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable.
So who cares about the rest of it? And then he goes out and he's like, yeah, all Trump's people are they're just garbage. It's like, and people in the White House are going, we can't even keep him in the White House. Even when we try to keep him in the White House, he's from beyond the grave at the Halloween episode. He's still just backstabbing Kamala for this entire thing. It's glorious, to be honest, because that's just Joey being Joey at this point. But to watch him do that, what?
It's like, who clicked play? Who's the person that clicked play? Who allowed him to have his room?
I think he just kind of stumbled in. Well, the thing was, Harris was having her big rally in front of the White House with like all the people who worked in DC, so it looked like a big rally was there, and you could see the White House behind her during the actual speech. And it's funny because as she's doing her big speech, meantime, in the White House back there is like, yeah, all Trump's people are garbage. And then he went back, had some pudding, and went to sleep, knowing that he successfully nuked the campaign. But I know you say whatever you think about Trump, but you will never have another politician like Trump. You will never have another politician like Trump, because within 24 hours, the garbage comment is made. So what is Trump? And I think it's Barron, because apparently Barron is the one who's telling him to go on the podcast, like Rogan and all this other stuff. 24 hours after that, he shows up in, I think it was Wisconsin. And, you know, I'm sure you guys.
Outfit, you know, is when he called us all garbage. How stupid! What a stupid word. That blows deplorable away, don't you think? Of course, I thought irredeemable when she said deplorable or irredeemable. I thought irredeemable was actually worse, but deplorable seemed to catch up. But this garbage stuff blows it away. So I'm in this beautiful plane. I'm enjoying myself. I have a wonderful suit on. And one of my people came in and said, "Sir, you know, the word garbage is the hottest thing right now."
It's so hot.
Out there. The hottest thing out there. "Sir, would you like to drive a garbage truck?" Now, we're about, 30 minutes from landing. We had to do this pretty quick. I said, "It's sort of cool, though, isn't it? Because, And I said, I think that's okay, but, I don't feel comfortable wearing a suit." And they pulled up this garbage truck. I don't know how the hell they did it so fast. I have very capable people. They put a big sign on the truck. Did you see it? I think they showed it. Yeah. And then they said, "Sir, we have a vest." I said, "Well, should I leave my suit on and put it over the vest?" But that doesn't look very good, right? That doesn't look good. So I said, "All right, look, let me take it off." And then I actually said, I climbed into the truck, but so I said, "How the hell do you get into this truck? It's way up high. It's a big one." This was a beauty. I said, "You didn't have to buy it that big, right? You have to get it that big?" They brought this brand new, gorgeous truck, wonderful driver. He looked like Cary Grant in his prime. You know who that is? This beautiful driver. And he drove that big thing up. And I said, "Man, this is bad, because now I have all the cameras are all watching. Look at all the fake news. They were, most of them." No, most of them, many of them were there. And I'm saying, oh, boy. One little mistake with these guys and your political career's over. You can't even. So I said, man, if I don't get up there, this is going to be very embarrassing. These stupid people, they'll say, he's cognitively and physically impaired. And I can't do that when I'm alongside of this great athlete. I got to get up to that. So look, the first stair is like up here. I'm saying, shit.
Yep.
So I had the adrenaline going, and I made it. I made it. And then I gave a little news conference from the front of they asked their wise guy questions and everything. And then we drove about 2 feet. I got out, got into the plane. And then I got in the car, and I'm driving over here, and I have this still on. And I come into the arena, and I say, "Where's my jacket? I want to get out of this thing." And they said, "It would be unbelievable if you could wear it on stage." I said,
all the world is stage.
And I said, "No way. I got 25,000 people standing outside. I got all these people here. There's no way I'm wearing it on stage." They said, "Oh, okay, sir." I said, "Get me my jacket. But if you did, it actually makes you look thinner." I said, "Oh." And they got me. I said, "I want to wear it on stage." When they said I look thinner, I said, "In that case, I'll wear it on stage." I may never wear a blue jacket again. I may go in this. They said that was my That was the word. That was the key. Sir, you look thinner. So anyway, so we had a little fun about a very serious subject. We had a little fun about a time where our country is not having a lot of fun because we're not doing well as a country, but we're going to be doing well very shortly. I promise you that.
You know, Steve, I don't think Trump actually likes being president. I think Trump really loves campaigning for president and doing the rallies, because that's where he's at his best, just with the energy of the crowd. And you'll never have another guy like this again. Whatever you think about him, like him, don't like him, but the man's a constant showman, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on WWF. He's had his own successful TV shows, and he knows how to work a crowd.
Yeah,
I mean, you're in that position for as many years as he has been. Yeah, you know how to, how to give the people what they want. And yeah, I mean, that's just, as you said before, he's the ultimate troller. I mean, he knows he's a marketing guru. But yeah, I mean, he just knows how to say it, what to say, who to say it to, how to win, and all the words to say it, and you don't know what's gonna. There was a video of him sitting in a room with 5 people tweeting during Kamala's.
Oh yep.
Was it something? I can't remember what Cackles was.
I think
doing.
it was her acceptance speech at the DNC.
Was it? And he's just saying, "Oh, that's it, or that's fun. Go tweet this out, and make sure you say this." And that was funny just to see, because he's just sitting there drinking a Coke and saying, "Oh yeah, tweet this out. Make sure you say it this way." Blah blah. And so yeah, he knows exactly. It's 100%. Yeah, I think he has a great time doing this. I mean, it's nothing but publicity for him, free pub, and dude, everyone loves you. It's like the when you're the backup quarterback on a team, you're everyone's favorite. Everyone loves you. It's when you're the starter, everyone gives you the most grief, and when you screw up, and you did
Schrodinger's quarterback,
and he did back in 2016, and I mean, I do it all the time. Say, hey, here's his stats. They sucked. And here's why, and here's the examples, and here's the facts. And it's that Ben Shapiro thing. Facts don't care about your feelings. Everyone gets all feeling good. Oh, my cultish God is, we got to have him in. Well, it's going to, hey, if he's going to get rid of the income tax, give me that red hat. I'll put the darn thing on right
now. Hearing him do that, it's like, ooh, now you're speaking languages here.
You want to speak a love language.
Hey. Trump was probably upset. He's like, Joe, I wish you could have said the garbage thing like a week ago, because we could have had safety vests with Trump, and it would have been the greatest costume ever, and I would have sold thousands of them. But Joe, in his senile way, I don't know, he's senile, he just said it. But if he could have said it a week ago, we could have had Trump vests, and everybody would have worn them, and it would have been great. But
you can call them up, and they can show up like a upgraded version of Dirty Business.
Men at work.
But
you know, for all the Trump love he's getting there, and it certainly seems like momentum wise he's doing fine. I think people are not. I think they're putting the cart before the horse here, because what Trump has done as far as expanding the party is not great long term for people like Steve, myself, and everybody watching right now. Simply because of the tent. Everybody always wanted a bigger tent. Well, we need to expand the tent. Problem is, once you expand the tent, now you got to deal with the other people in the tent.
Gay Americans, tonight is this. You're free to marry who you want, if you want, without the government standing in your way. But that doesn't mean that boys get to compete with girls in girls' sports, or you do genital mutilation and chemical castration on our children.
And of course, first it's like, oh, well, the federal government should step in and do court. First of all, the Defense of Marriage Act is still in the books. It's just not enforced. Secondly, Steve has a great response when people get mad at Vivek about this, and it's quite simple, Steve.
Well, just before I say that, you brought up the whole the Madison Square Garden thing, which now everyone's calling him, he's the next Hitler and all the Nazis. And what I think they have like 4 DNC conventions at Madison Square Garden.
Carter, Kennedy, Roosevelt, and Clinton.
4.
They all got it there.
Someone else brought up a great thing about, Trump drinks water. You know who else drank water?
Checkmate, sucker.
Hitler's drink water. So I guess, hey, I know I'm Hitler too. I guess I drink water. I guess everything he does now is going to be compared to that. But that just shows that he either thinks or knows that he can win New York because he skipped a couple swing states just to go to New York. He's been in Cali and New York a lot. And we said it last time. I told him, so I wouldn't be shocked to win all 50. I know he's going to win. Is how bad it's going to be. I think it's going to be a massacre. But will he win?
How bad are they going to allow it? Really?
Hey, they had that many people show up in Madison, in New York, City, in the capital of Crapolia, I guess you could say. I mean, the mayor is getting treated worse than he is.
I mean, the mayor's even defending him at this point, which is kind of just like crazy town.
But to your point, all right. So we got the whole gay marriage. Oh, you got the RNC, the main guys, the Teen Party politics. They're all for the gays. Well, if you have people, I know someone probably write in, there he goes on his federalism garbage. If you want garbage, then drink. If you want to actually get things done and fixed, you got to start working on that. If you're in a state, say like you're in a state, I don't know, South Carolina, like that, and you're not too happy.
Just a random state. Pick South Carolina.
Just random. Random. I was just going to pull one out. I'm not prepared. I got a French horn right here. Not prepared to play.
Oh, green screen. Anyway.
But if say, all right, federal government says you must do this. You look in your pocket constitution. I don't know where that's at. You have no power.
It's in the pocket.
You have no power for this. If there's something called nullification, means that's cute. You can do that. If you can say that, we're not going to do that. Bye-bye. That's easy. It's done. It's over. And you get done in the game, you see someone like Vince Carter, over. That's all that has to be done. You just have your governor and your state house go, yeah, that's cute. No, we're not doing it.
And for people who think that's ridiculous, look at what California's been doing in regards to marijuana for decades.
Yeah.
Decades. Colorado, all these other places. Anyway, continue, Steve.
No, exactly right. The potheads got it done, figured out. You don't want to do it?
The guys who were more concerned about getting dominoes figured out nullification before anybody else were able to.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. We brought that up a couple of weeks ago when Trump comes out saying that he was going to bring back the Alien Sedition Acts of 1798, and we're going, you do know that's not a good thing, and there's these things called the Kentucky and Virginia Nullification Acts that will pretty much, like, nobody in Conservative Inc. decided to talk about that. Going, time out. That's rewind. You just pulled a Brandon. Don't do that. No, that nobody's thought that through. No, but all you have to do is anything like that. That's what goes back to I get comments. You just want to Kamala to come in. She wants abortion back and. Even if she did, which she can't, all your state house has to do is go, no, not doing it. Done. It's called nullification. Go to 10th Amendment Center and look at one of the videos on nullification. Michael Bolden runs that thing. He has a couple of quotes in there from guys back in the day. I think I screenshot a couple. It basically said, if you allow unconstitutional laws to just go through, you don't have liberty anymore. You are just in tyranny. You accept tyranny, and you should never complain the rest of your life because you don't have the guts to stand up for something so simple that you could get rid of. And that's pretty much what we've had. And people are going, oh, well, we can't do anything now because it's been this way. Well, that doesn't stop
you. The law of the land, Steve. It's the law of the land now. What do you want to do?
Well, we can't fix it. All right. Yes. The last couple decades, we've had for a century. We'll give you a century. Weak governors, weak state houses. Okay, figure it out. Now let's get good people with for a change. That works. It still works. It still will work. It still will get fixed if you had competent people in there with some sense and a spine to say no to DC every so often when you need to. And you can fix that thing right off the bat. You want tranny marriage, whatever that come down from DC, you can either one or two options. Continue to do what you're doing now, accept it, complain about it every 5 seconds because that's all you want to do, or you could fix it and then, you know what, we're done with this. Have people in the state house that can say no to the DC. Or you want Christ the King, feast day last week. You want Christ to be king in your nation, which is your state, then do it. And I don't see anybody in Conservative Inc. or Traddy Inc.
What about Jack Prosebic, John, man? What about Jack Prosebic?
None of these guys online tweeting about this all day. Crisis. You want to do something about it? Don't think about running for president. It's a stupid idea. Go run for your governor. Go run for your state house. And then you can shrine Christ the King in your state tomorrow if you are serious. If you're not serious, just keep doing this because it's a branding thing. Then after that, you're just looking for clicks because there ain't no way you're not. If you or me run for president, I don't care if I have 40 million subscribers. You're not getting in unless the powers that shouldn't be behind that screen that we don't know who they are allows you to get in like that.
Who are they? Who are they, Steve? Who are they, buddy?
Yeah, you're not at the Bohemian Grove meetings. You get into those, maybe you got a chance. You get into those secret societies, maybe you got a shot like that. Little guy, he ain't getting in like that. Dr. Paul can't get past that thing. We think one of us gonna get that? No. Now your state house, yeah, you can pull that off. Probably next. Why don't you got 2 years from now in some states? You got a couple ones going on now, to cut next week, so it's too late for that. But 4 years from now, go for that. Start getting your minds ready. What can we do in 2 years for our local state, get better at it, or 4 years? You can make some big differences that way. If not, enjoy the ride because it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, that's completely correct. And I know people get tired of it, but guess what? It needs to be said over and over and over again because Trump, when he gets in, he's going to be there for 4 years, and most of it's going to be a slog over whatever. It's going to be half the stuff that he's going to try and do is going to get, they're going to do their own nullification within the bureaucracy, within the swamp. So you talk about how nullification does work. He's going to try and put in an executive action or an order. Think about the deportations. Everybody's talking about the deportations. I wish they would deport all 10 million of them. But we saw it during Trump's first term where he tried to deport people and the states nullified it. Mm-hmm. The states went in when they knew where illegal immigrants were, where undocumented criminal aliens were. They would tell them, hey, ICE is on the way. Go out the back door. They would hide them. They would move them. So the fact of the matter is it exists and the state wants it. The deep state needs it. They need it, right? I'll say they, and it's a fact of life. And you either get on board with that or you don't.
There's bad governors in states. What do you do about it? You become that governor or you find other people to become that governor. And if it's a state like, if it's like Oregon, you know how many times I wake up in the morning and wonder how Oregon does? Zero.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the first thing
I care about where I'm at. We should be. It's that Yankee Puritan attitude, mindset, and all of us have in some form or the percentage. Man, I want Massachusetts to be like, I can't believe Rhode Island's doing it. I can't believe it. Forget them. If you live in that area, you worry about you. You're a monkey, you worry about your area. You're in this area, you worry about that area. You're in Nebraska, you worry about Nebraska. You were in Minnesota, you worry about Minnesota. If you're in Minnesota, you worry about Delaware, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Focus on your home, focus on your backyard, clean your yard up, get in, find other people to do it. And then stop worrying about what New Mexico is doing. I mean, you could put it out saying, hey, this is crazy because it's going on. Yeah, you do it as for friends and stuff like that. But if your attitude is, I got to make sure we get all these guys in line like up. There's a cool book. I'll finish reading this and then I'm going to get him on. I'm going to do a show with him because he's right. He's like-minded. Have you heard him yet?
Who?
Jeff Smith?
No.
Self-published, missing monarchy, because everyone's like, oh, we need to get back into king. We need to get, and he gets into what actually a king was back in the Middle Ages and how he could have titled this The Beginning of Centralization, because you'll read it going, I see where this is going. You're going from small king, king is kin, kings. And how actually the king actually did not rule like a tyrannical oligarch just because he actually had to do different things, and everyone you could talk to the king, and you were able to work back and forth, and everyone was in together and things like that. Then the monarchy came in, and that was when you had this one guy with a spear. And I'm gonna do it this way by God's divine right. I'm gonna. You say what I say, but instead of saying, the church says this, I'm gonna do what the church says, and then we're just gonna protect my people. No, then you become the sole authority, and then that grows into what you saw in England and things like that. And then it's just with this. That's why I say you got an elected monarch, because you do. You have a guy imperialism from the first. Anyway, he brings up how I would like 1,000 different groups, 1,000 different states in the United States. I'm going, that's my love language right here. He goes, if Vermont wants to do this, Vermont does that. If or a group over here does this, a group that you get this section for libertarian, you get a section for anarchists, you get this. If all these people live like this, that actually brings in harmony. And you would have, there's a video of a lady just yelling at this, young little girl at like one of my kids' age. That's the anger from everything being centralized.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, there's one vote in 5 days, we have a civil war. We'll take that back. I'm sorry. It's the month of voting. So we don't have election day. It's the election month. And now it's the election 2 weeks. And instead of just having one day of one civil war, we have a whole month of it. And then your team might defeat the other team. And then you can hold that team down with your boot. And you're going to force that stuff down their throat. Or you're not going to force it down your throat. One of the other ways, somebody's getting something shoved down someone's throat. Instead of living in peace and harmony, and maybe we work to convert people and love and things like that. No. We need force. Yep. Either party, either team will do that.
Yep. It really is a battle for just power. Like you said, it really is just a battle for power and who gets access to it at that point.
You got that line, so when evil, it apparently Burke never said it, but it still rings true. The only way bad things to succeed is good people do nothing. There's 100% right on that. Yeah. How many governors right now you might be saying, man, we don't have anybody running? Whose problem is that? Could you?
The crazy thing is that when you look at the governors, like Vermont or Delaware, most of the populations are not big enough that if you got and Republicans always say, well, we don't have a huge faction in our state. Most people don't care about local politics. I know Brian just said, when you look at it, look like you have three heads. If you can muster enough support at the local level, look at the vote totals in those races. They're not very high, and they're not separated by a lot.
No.
Outside of something like California, where it's just so overpopulated anyway, and it's a one-party state. But most places,
they look at you like we have three heads. I had a guy at the Gyms for Canada. It took me a couple months to talk to him about this. He finally comes up and goes, I see what you're talking about. That makes a total sense now because they're building stuff in my area. And I go, yeah, they're building stuff in your neighborhood that directly affects you, but yet you're caring about what New Hampshire is doing or whatever. And then you brought up California. Think about the size of California. And the people live in California, especially Southern California. Mm-hmm. What would be the Hispanic ratio probably in Southern California? Probably a lot, right?
Right.
And they're always ran by Jews. I don't want to be like EMJ right there, but look at this.
And thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you next week as we get absolutely.
I can't remember who brought that up. Was it Dr. Was somebody brought that up? Goes, look at the names of the representatives. And then look who lives in California. He goes, you want the Suarez's and all that be ran by?
I mean, look at
representation
Mexico.
of California.
You want to talk about that? Look at Mexico. How Mexico elected its first female Jewish president.
Yeah.
She was the mayor of Mexico City for a long time, and yet somehow now,
but
all these long, extensive history of Jewish people from Mexico.
Yeah.
So
was it really kind of funny. Everyone's got a little Jewish in you because of 24andMe. If you were dumb enough to take that thing.
Yeah, right. The Chinese thank you for your information, by the way. But yeah. So you have that, and it's one of these things where people are fighting for it and going back and forth, trying to understand that centralized government is the answer because, well, Trump's going to fix everything, right? Biden screwed everything up and Trump's going to fix everything. Well, I mean, if you really want to look at what Trump did, Is he really going to fix anything? I don't know.
This election season. Harris is an establishment hack for the machine whose policies show clear obedience to the ruling powers. The Biden-Harris regime has spent trillions dragging Americans deeper into debt while devaluing the dollar and impoverishing people with their big government economic policies. Funded and armed corrupt regimes with no accountability. Persecuted the man who exposed the American empire and military-industrial complex. Kept all the wars going at our expense, putting America last. Appointed entrenched intelligence officials from the deep state. Extended mass surveillance. Advocates for gun control. Propped up and protected the filthy big ag industry that produces toxic government-approved food. Shilled for pharmaceutical companies. And appointed swamp creatures, including military-industrial defense contractors, to positions of power in the regime. What more do you need to know about the Biden-Harris regime to know she's an establishment shill? Only Trump can save us. Wait, that's Donald Trump's record too. No, I'm not a liberal or leftist of any kind, and sorry, but this is not fake news. It's all verifiable on video, in open government records, or in documents published by Trump's own White House. Just like Biden, Harris, and so many authoritarians before, Trump has continually advanced the interests of the ruling class, oligarchy, and his own power, no matter what specially tailored rhetoric he tempts you with while perpetuating the same policies you decry in other politicians but explain away in him.
Take the guns first, go through due process second.
He got tricked last time. That's the best you can do. The 5D chess master who's gonna take down the establishment got tricked by the establishment. I don't care. I'm voting for the lesser evil to stop this massive government from growing any further. How exactly do you think the government is going to build a border wall and seize land for it? Secure it with biometric surveillance and
Give immunity to police.
so you feel safer while maintaining massive government spending. And as someone who identifies as distrusting government, why do you think these powers won't eventually be used against you? You're voting to destroy the freedom you think you're protecting. Well, I'm gonna vote for a better economy. I'll take Ron Paul's assessment over MAGA cultists any day.
The economy on the surface is good, but it's not sound, it's not lasting, it's based on debt, and the payment will come due soon.
As it turns out, facts don't care about your feelings, and your feelings apparently don't care about facts. It's tempting to look at the crumbling, cruel world and crave a daddy figure to come fix it for you, to make your fears and frustrations go away. People expect authority figures to save them and happily give them unlimited authority to do so. Clinging to a politician in this crumbling country only.
I mean, she's 100% right. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Warp Speed. How many, like Jack, not even say anything about it?
Yeah. I mean, even when he went on Rogan, Rogan pushed on. Rogan didn't even push him on that, where he said he was a big fan of the pharmaceutical industry, and you know, he made kind of a little nod, and he's like, well, I picked RFK. They don't like that. They don't like it very much. So I mean, is that his apology for it? He won't really apologize for it because he's got too much pride in that regard.
You heard the apology on Bolton?
Oh yeah, he's so stupid.
Well, I already hired him, my friend. He's very smart. He told me not to do it. He goes, no, well, too late. I already hired the guy.
I heard him last week. It's like, well, you could have
Well,
fired
and
him.
even then, you're going, well, can't you just fire? He's like, nah, we're sending our invite. No more. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he has to stay for a minimum of a year. It's a Washington thing. Yeah, you can't go anywhere else. But
still, like, wait. I mean, you didn't. How is that the vetting process? You know what? I'll ask my friends after I give the guy a job. How you think about it?
Yep. No, I mean, there's a lot. I listened to about an hour and a half of. I didn't even listen to the whole 3 hours. I listened to about.
I saw
an hour
a couple
and a half of that.
clips.
What?
I saw a couple clips.
I mean, it was a lot of it was just Trump talking. It was, you're not going to get anything new out of it. The only thing that was new was the fact that Trump is obsessed with whales. And he's obsessed with whales and wind turbines in the water.
Yeah, and we found a video. It's not Trump saying it, but this is actually what's going on.
That is the boat. Let's bring it to Dead Star.
I saw another whale had washed up. It's becoming a pattern. Is it the windmills? Is it the pounding of the seafloor? How many whales is it going to take?
There aren't many places where the North Atlantic right whale can go. It's destined to extinction.
It sounds like they're like it's like pile driving.
This is what the whale is experiencing when nothing on the island.
What the United States is looking at is thousands of wind turbines in an area that our whales, our dolphins, our marine life, where they live, where they migrate, where they breed. It's only when they started going into the wind lease areas that we believe that the whales are dying.
So those red dots are whale death.
Who knew that Trump was a whale hugging hippie?
Yeah, and he just wants to be a whale psychologist. That's really all he wants to be. You know, maybe he'll retire and do that when he's done. And it's funny, all the liberal states, they were talking about windmills a little bit, like how in California they're all broken down. They don't do anything. And it's funny because if you're driving on 35, or no, it's 20 across Texas through Midland, Odessa, there's a town called Sweetwater. And first of all, it smells like absolute gas. It's awful. It's not Sweetwater. But on both sides of the highway, it's just miles of turbines. And the turbines they're never running. They're just always, but that's the big thing. The town was one of these, ghost towns that was dead. And they just got a ton of money to put these wind farms in. And so that's really like the only thing that's keeping that town alive right now is just government subsidies on that. But
no one ever wants to build off their own land either. If it's not in my backyard.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere. I guess that was the it doesn't smell like garbage. It smells because there's a refinery there, so it smells like natural gas, and it's it's awful. But it doesn't smell like garbage, Lou, just to answer your question. But yeah, the whole idea.
How dare you?
But so Trump talked about that. But let's get this clip up where Trump was talking about the income tax, because I know Steve was a
the idea
of
getting rid of income taxes and replacing it with tariffs.
Well, okay.
Were you serious about that?
Yeah, sure. But why not? Because our country was the richest relatively in the 1880s and 1890s. A president who was assassinated named McKinley. He was the tariff king. He spoke beautifully of tariffs. His language was really beautiful. We will not allow the enemy to come in and take our jobs and take our factories and take our workers and take our families unless they pay a big price. And the big price is tariffs. And he'd speak like that, but he was right. And then around in the early 1900s, they switched over stupidly to, frankly, an income tax. And you know why? Because countries were putting a lot of pressure on America. We don't want to pay tariffs. Please don't. Believe me, they control our politicians. If you look at the kind of numbers that these guys make then and now, but we had a commission meeting in the, I think it was 1887. Think of this problem. We were so rich. We had so much money. We didn't know what to do. So they set up a blue ribbon commission on tariffs. And the sole purpose is what to do with all the money we had. We were so rich because we were taxing other people for coming in and taking our jobs.
Tax is unnecessary. Again, something happened in the 20th century where the American people decided that there would be...
The 16th Amendment happened, yeah.
There's something happened where we have changed our attitude about what we want from our government. We've ushered in this overwhelming runaway welfare state that we cannot afford. And we've also become an American empire where we have troops around the world and we pay for the defense of Japan and Germany and everybody else. But at the same time, you had to have two ways of financing this. One we decided we'd have an income tax that we would start subtly and small that would escalate to the point that it really is the biggest ripoff in the country, along with a Federal Reserve System that allows us to monetize
that happened
debt.
65 years ago.
Well, I know, but since 65 years, we have seen the deterioration of this society that we love. I mean, the Libertarian Society is no longer with us because of these ideas.
Yeah, but in 1922, the top tax was 70%. Right now, it's 28%. So how can you say that we have gone down a slippery slope where we're getting worse and worse?
Because the amount of tax coming out of the economy is still much greater. The amount of tax the government takes is over 40%. You know, when the founding fathers got sick and tired of the British tax and they had a tax of about 25%, the American people are rather complacent to put up with this. But more important...
Before you run away with that figure, let's remind our audience that in the first place it's not 40%, it's 39%. And the second place, 16 of it is by the individual states and localities. The federal tax is too high, but it's under 23%.
What did the indentured serf, what was he required to pay his master? 25%. And so we are a bit, we have enslaved ourselves. Not only are we enslaved through the tax system, but we're enslaved because we keep all the records. If we don't keep the right records, can you imagine this tax simplification bill that just came out? And if we don't learn those forms and do it right, we have a gun pointed at our head by the IRS and say, you're going to be put in prison if you don't learn to fill out those forms. How many times did they have to go through the W-4 form? I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. We have to keep the information, then we have to turn it over to the government. We then set ourselves up for self-incrimination. Then we are guilty until proven innocent. They say, you owe such and such amount. We are guilty and proven innocent, and then we will go to jail and they confiscate money from our banks.
You got it a little bit wrong, Dr. Paul. Here's how it works. If the federal government, if the IRS can test your tax, the presumption is theirs.
Right.
But in any prosecution of you for a criminal trespass, the presumption is yours.
The IRS can come and confiscate our money very easily if they send us a bill and we don't pay it. If they send you a bill at the end of the year and say you did not pay $10,000 on taxes, you jolly well better prove that you don't owe it. Isn't that correct?
Yes, but if they charge fraud, then the presumption is yours.
Yeah, but if they send you a bill, it's up to you to hire your attorney and hire your accountants and spend a lifetime or many years of agony to prove yourself innocent.
Well, like, play that Lee Greenwood song.
I mean, hey, you have football and Olive Garden. So what do you care about any of this, right?
Well, that's the number one thing when he's talking about the New Hampshire group that wants to break away. The number one reason is you get a pay raise, no more income tax. And there's some states that don't have an income tax. Tennessee doesn't have one. I think Florida don't. Texas doesn't have one. Then there's a state income tax. There's federal income. You get taxed on tax and tax and tax. There's tax and tax. If you get rid of the federal income tax, you would have an incredible pay raise.
Imagine that. Imagine that 6% back in your paycheck every single time, minimum. You know, just being able to put that kind of cash into your local economy.
Dude, how many people? How off do you have to be to say, you know what, I just want to kill babies too much?
Well, I mean, you have to be a liberal white woman in order to do that, because liberal white women will literally let this country burn to the ground as long as they get to murder babies.
Hey, and then, property tax, correct. You own your own thing. I have to pay to use my own property. Whatever.
Yep. And they love home mortgages because they wrap it into the home mortgage, so you don't know. Because most people don't pay off their homes; they just go from one to the other, so they don't notice that their property tax goes up. Like, oh, my our mortgage went up by like $5 or whatever the case is, while they're jacking your property tax through the roof. The worst thing is when you pay it off, then they send you a nice letter being like, yeah, now you're responsible for $5,000 in property taxes. Like, for what? For the right to use land that it's ridiculous in that regard. It's just awful. And property tax, Brian, in this state is just ridiculous. And they every year, every election cycle they run, we're going to lower property tax. We're going to lower. Abbott's been promising to do it for 400 years that he's been in governor, and nothing happened. Nothing takes place.
Now, again, we think we pretty much say he's getting in. He'll probably do all this in the first 100 days, probably. Yeah. Now, will it be all sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and unicorn farts and all that stuff afterwards? This is also coming out.
And as long as the Speaker of the House of Representatives is here, I would like to put forward a bill, because I watched 2 months ago as some very bad people, radical left people, by the way, nothing happened to them, in Washington, D.C., burned our American flags. They were burning flags. And I would like to suggest that we put in a bill, if you burn the American flag, 1 year in jail.
Yay! 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 Jail time for everybody.
Like, it just goes to the low IQ voter. We got a motion, yay! And it's obviously a violation of the First Amendment, but it's a religion. That's Christopher R's book, Liberty of God That Failed, brings that up about how that's like a sacramental in a sense. and like Thanksgiving and other federal holy days are in parallel to the church holy days. Like you see it, it's a religion. Politics is a religion. You get fired up. People get more. I wrote a newsletter the other day, and a guy writes me back, ticked off, saying, I will never vote for that rapist, blah, blah, blah. I unsubscribe you. Where did I tell you that he was the greatest guy in the world? I was just giving a prediction on what's coming down next week. And man, you're more upset about that than if I, called your mama a name. People are really, again, it's centralization. Everything becomes a religion to these, the religion of politics. It should never be like that. But since we have to have it, instead of, because I put a thing on the YouTube channel, it shouldn't matter who the president is. And it shouldn't. If you have 2 working brain cells and can read, just read the article in the Constitution on the executive office, and it will tell you the powers of the president. And you go like, none of these guys can do any of what but we allow it. Like bring up the whole 10th Amendment under video nullification. If you stand back and just let these guys run roughshod over you, then you're just equally as bad as they are, because now you're accepting and embracing the unconstitutional tyranny that they're bringing in every 4 years. It doesn't matter who they are, R or D next to the name, they do it. Brandon just signed the okay for the re-signing of the not the Patriot Act, but the terrorist thing after 9/11. Every year they re-sign.
That is the Patriot Act.
Is it the Patriot Act? The Patriot. Yeah. So Trump did it 4 times. Brandon's done it 4 times. Same team. Yep. Just a little different. Coke versus Pepsi. Same drink.
Yep.
Can't taste a little different. A little bit of flavor over here.
Well, Pepsi. We all know Pepsi's garbage. Let's just be real. Pepsi is.
But if you use the real cane sugar,
even with the real cane sugar, man, it's like diabetes in a can, like straight diabetes. I know they all are, but Pepsi's just garbage, man.
I haven't had the fake stuff in a while. But anyway, it's we allow this stuff to go down like that, which they're trying to set up. Let's do cackles first.
Okay.
So we complete an equal opportunity, because people are probably thinking, oh, look at you guys, you're only picking on DJ. Where is Cackles?
I don't know if you have Cackles lined up. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that.
And did you what?
Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us.
How to kill a rally.
I have fought my whole career to put the people first.
Quick pivot.
That wasn't fake. That was real. She's now say your
problem with Kamala. The problem with Kamala is that A, she was not ready for this, no matter how much. B, you can do improv. She's not a good public speaker. She doesn't know how to take the energy of a crowd and move forward. She's just awkward in all this kind of stuff. And so what you have is these gaffes, these awful gaffes. And it's just really kind of just rough to watch. I'm not gonna lie. It's because it's just like, golly. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just fun to see them, the hypocrisy, which there's a great, make sure you keep all the clips if you see them talking about how DJ wasn't going to do this or that, and they're not going to respect the law. Wait till DJ wins and they're burning things down. Mm-hmm. And these guys aren't respecting that the vote happened and their code team lost, and they're going to go after for the next 4 years.
It's going to be rough.
They're going to bring Russia back into the play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Here's I don't know, watch InfoWars, but LA art installation allows visitors to play soccer with Trump's head. Hey, who does that?
No, I mean, it is LA. It is LA, so it's not
Russia
too much of a
decided
shock.
to have amplified hurricane disinformation, apparently. I mean, you can't make some of this stuff up.
Well, it's not even the Russia stuff. They've been priming the pump with the fascist talk, and then the rally was fascist, and Kamala has changed her tune everything he does is fascist dictator, Nazi. What they're planning to probably, from what I hear, is that, and I think we played the clip, they're going to go with the DJT winning. It'll probably win Wednesday during the day. It won't be election night. It'll probably be Wednesday during the day, just to kind of push out the ratings. And then January 6th, you already heard Jamie Ratskins. He was like, we're just not going to let it happen. We're going to stop it from taking place. So it remains to be seen how far they actually go with it. But
it'll keep your eyeball. They'll keep the eyeballs on. They'll pull something to just
because it's all about ratings.
Oh,
it's all about ratings, all about eyeballs, keeping people's their attention fixed on what's going on.
Agencies
and that's really
are
it.
warning of threats of violence in the upcoming election. In a joint intelligence bulletin, agents from the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are warning law enforcement agencies that domestic violent extremists are seeking to terrorize and disrupt the vote. Let's get more now from NBC's Ken Delanian. What more can you tell us about this warning, Ken?
Good morning, Anna. The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are warning in this new intelligence bulletin of the heightened risk of lone wolf attacks by domestic extremists motivated by election-related conspiracy theories, including beliefs in widespread voter fraud and their hatred of their political opponents. This will surprise no one who's been paying attention, but it's significant that these agencies are putting this out to local law enforcement a week before the election. The new unclassified bulletin says the goal of these attacks would be to terrorize and disrupt the vote. And to be clear, this document does not describe intelligence about any specific threat. It talks about a general atmosphere of anger and misinformation that could prompt unstable people to engage in threats or violence. And of course, we've already seen that in recent weeks with a series of arrests for election threats, including a man in Philadelphia who allegedly threatened to skin election workers alive. And remember last week, police in Phoenix arrested a person in connection with a mailbox fire that damaged around 20 ballots. The report identified potential targets of violence to include candidates, elected officials, election workers, members of the media, and judges involved in election cases. The potential threats include physical attacks and violence at polling places, ballot drop boxes, voter registration locations, and rallies and campaign events. And of course, Anna, the report doesn't say this, but it's obvious that a lot of these extremists are driven by years of lies about the election, 2020 election, by Donald Trump and his allies.
Very.
Secretary
because words are violence
today
too.
That she had not decided whether to tell you, the public, about that password leak before she got called out on it publicly today. I asked Secretary Griswold whether she takes responsibility for this election security breach in the same way that she has held others accountable. And we discussed a string of errors by her office that can damage voter confidence.
To be very clear, we do not see this as a full security threat to the state. This is not a security threat.
You do frequent media interviews warning of the insider threats to elections. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security defines an insider threat as somebody who uses authorized access.
They define it as a Republican or a conservative.
To do harm. Did the actions of your office pose an insider threat to elections?
No.
In 2021, when Mesa County's voting system passwords leaked, your office said, quote, the public disclosure of the BIOS passwords for one or more components of Mesa County's voting system alone constitutes a serious breach of voting system security protocols. By that standard, did your office commit a serious breach of voting system security protocols?
Did you order the code red?
Well, to push back on you, Kyle, that sentence is in the press release, but there is a much bigger press release. And part of that investigation in Mesa County was 2 sets of passwords, unauthorized access, stolen passwords, and it was in a different time. Since 2021 and what happened in Mesa County, our security has improved, including the 24/7-hour cameras, including the badge and access. The law has been significantly strengthened since then. We have multiple layers in place to ensure situations like Mesa County don't occur, and that is not what is occurring here.
This is not the first time that your office has made mistakes that have damaged voters' confidence in our elections. In 2022, your office sent out mailers to 30,000 non-citizens inviting them to register to vote. They, of course, are not eligible to register to vote. That same year, your office used Colorado's ballot tracking system to send messages to specific Coloradans encouraging them to vote when, in fact, they had already voted causing confusion that had to be cleaned up by the county clerks. And now this leak of the voting system passwords. Given your office's repeated errors that have damaged confidence in our elections, which you say is paramount, will you resign?
Absolutely not, Kyle. And I just want to, you're unfairly characterizing and leaving out some crucial information. We came out immediately and said a postcard had been sent out to people who are ineligible. The postcard clearly stated that someone had to be a U.S. citizen. No one tried to register from that group of people. We were actively tracking it. And it became a situation where no one registered. And to push back even further, Kyle, Colorado is tied for #1 in confidence in the country in our elections.
That's a low
We
bar.
have
That's
stood
true.
up to situations time and time again to protect the right of Colorado.
Issues with the programming of the bats with specifically
Yes.
from Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that only caught in the past few days, and why can't it be fixed? I saw the release.
Yeah, this is a nationwide issue with Dominion voter access terminals in the counties that use them. And the voter access terminals, of course, not all the machines, just the ones that are accessible, have an issue with the straight party voting and a programming issue that's, again, affected the machines nationwide. And I think all of us that use Dominion machines were unhappy to learn about this during the testing period and as early voting began. So we're working with Dominion to seek accountability on that front, and also are working with our clerks to ensure voters are aware of this programming issue that will require them to ensure they are voting every section on the ballot.
Bigger issue in Michigan because we do allow.
Personally, I think that just gets you ratings and clicks and views and all that. Because if they really wanted to keep it hidden, this from was it 2000? I said this was
maybe.
Mr. Curtis, would you please state your full name for the record?
My name is Clinton Eugene Curtis.
And where do you reside?
Tallahassee, Florida.
And what is your profession?
I'm a computer programmer.
Would you please speak into the microphone so the audience can hear your testimony?
I'm a computer programmer.
Mr. Curtis, are there programs that can be used to secretly fix elections?
Yes.
How do you know that to be the case?
Because in October of 2000, I wrote a prototype for President Congressman Tom Feeney at the company I worked for in Oviedo, Florida, that did just that.
And when you say did just that, it would rig an election?
It would flip the vote 51-49 to whoever you wanted it to go to and whichever race you wanted to win.
And would that program that you designed be something that elections officials that might be on county boards of elections could detect?
They'd never see it.
Mr.
So like if they wanted to do that, they wouldn't tell you. They're telling. I think that the Dominion thing is just to get people. Oh, look what's going on with this is happening over here. There's that right hand.
I mean, it
look over
seems
here.
like it's such a blowout right now because in terms of energy and the fact that Kamala can't complete a sentence, that they're doing whatever they can to keep eyeballs on Tuesday. Tuesday's their Super Bowl, right? That's where that's their Black Friday.
Yeah,
and so they got to make sure people actually tune in.
Ain't nobody tuning in,
which is why I think they won't. They'll call it Wednesday sometime during the day because then that brings eyeballs back into it and more coverage. I don't think it's going to last a couple weeks. I think it'll probably last maybe a day.
They can't milk that cow that long. No. But yeah, you're right. I mean, by the end of the week, they got nothing else. It'd be like watching MLB Network right now. The World Series over. Why are we watching MLB Network anymore? It ain't on him.
I mean, and also they need Trump in the news media so they can be like, well, Trump's fascist agenda for 2020. Like they'll have stuff for days.
Yeah, CNN and MSNBC.
They can't wait.
They
cannot
DJ
wait
to be
Trump to get back in. They got 10 stories ready to go.
Yes.
So
yeah, they have cackles in there. They got what are they going to do? They're going to turn into Fox after 2 years.
I mean, they've already did it with Joe. I mean, everything bottomed out. It bottomed out hard. And then you have like Bezos saying like, Washington Post, don't endorse Kamala. We need more conservative writers. We need all this other kind of stuff. They're prepping for Trump to get back in office because they're ready to be like, well, he's going to be pissed. So we gotta do something to kind of throw out a little bit of an olive branch. So they're all the signs are pointing that way. And so they're trying to lessen the kind of like Whitlock brought up this point when he was doing a show this morning. In 2012, they're like, oh, Romney's got a chance. Romney's got a chance. Watch out. Romney's got a lot of momentum. And then the thing was over by like 11 o'clock. But people watched because they were, they had been told, hey, Romney's got a chance. You better watch out.
I remember that one. I went to bed around like 10. And I remember going the whole time you were on there with Mike at that time. He was called Mitt for Brains at the time.
Yep.
You can't have Mitt for Brains going against Barack when Barack it pretty much did what Mitt for Brains did better. It was like this thing was over. So he didn't have a chance in God's green earth on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, Kamala is just a sacrificial goat. That's it. Now they're starting to have these stories come out like, oh yeah, she plagiarized her thing. And there are articles out there that are like, maybe they should have kept Joe Biden. I actually think the way I'm looking at it now, it looks like the Democratic Party did Biden a favor. And I think I said this last week. They did Biden a favor. In the short term, it looks like they took advantage of him by booting him out of the race. But they knew this thing was going to be such a blowout that they're like, dude, nobody's going to think about you. They'll think about your term. You'll be president. You won't be the guy that got blown out. It'll be Kamala Harris. She'll be a footnote. And then her political career is over. She can go get a teaching position in some California college and teach law for 20 years. And she'll be fine. She'll be taken care of.
There was no way Brandon was going to be in again. Again, you have 4 years. People are losing their minds in a sense, grocery bill. And you see Cackles talking about, it's just we have to, the people that are price gouging. Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, it's not the 100 trillions that we're giving away overseas. Yeah. It's price gouging. It's a hurricane that did it. Yeah, that's why we go to the store. $100 is 3 bags of groceries. That's it.
I saw a funny meme or saw a funny reel. It was like Marvel if it was in the real world. They're like, the Avengers are being attacked in New York City. Governor, what do we, Mr. President, what do we do? And the kid stands up and goes, another $100 billion to Israel right now. It's like, yeah, that would be pretty much what happens. And so as long as the deep state is allowed to continue their wars, and it doesn't matter who's in, left or right, Trump or Kamala, the wars will continue. And everything will, Israel's getting ready to just launch another attack on Iran. So I hope you all enjoy that.
Israel, who's just last week or 2 weeks, a week and a half ago, Israel tank attacks UN peacekeepers in southern Lebanon. They're the only group in the world.
Were they on the USS Liberty? I don't know. That sounds kind of funny, but
they're the only ones that can be attacked. They're the only ones that can attack others and then cry victim.
Yep.
Israel forces kill 41 more Palestinians in Gaza for 24 hours. Hezbollah fire 8 in northern Israel. U.S. military says it's killed 35 ISIS operators in Syria attacks. When did we have that one? When did we start striking Syria? Did we get a congressional?
We get that congressional seal to do it? Maybe.
Yeah. Zelensky asked for more Tomahawk missiles, part of victory plan.
Zelensky, like anybody cares what that guy thinks anymore. That guy's calling Trump and being like, please keep some money coming my way, please.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, it's
Taiwan signs deal with U.S. to purchase 1,000 attack drones. So that sounds good.
Yeah. Yep. And so as long as that takes place,
that consecration worked, right? That we have this is the era of peace.
Yeah, peace and prosperity, bro. Peace and prosperity. Peace in our time, as they would say. But it looks like we've gone through all our stories today. What about the lithium one? I know you had the one about the lithium plant.
That was just an explosion of lithium.
It's just an explosion of lithium plant. Don't worry, guys.
No big whoop. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was yesterday in Frederickstown, Missouri. The blaze, which broke out 225,000 square foot facility owned by Critical Mineral Recovery, led to shelter-in-place advisories and mandatory evacuation orders in the surrounding area. According to its website, the company uses this facility to recycle lithium-ion battery materials from battery manufacturers, automotive OEMs, battery dealers, recyclers, and processing worldwide. one of the largest lithium-ion battery facilities in the world. So,
okay,
and it is. People talk about the North Carolina, and they're doing this everywhere about doing these lithium mines. They're all over Europe. They're all over Asia. They're all over the West Coast. They're all over. Literally, name your place. You probably have somebody trying to dig lithium out of the ground for an EV car or something like that. It's not just here. And even though they'll update on the mountains, apparently the water's pretty bad. Obviously, the flesh-eating mud in some areas. There's stuff all in the waters. There's the water. One of the water cleansing units. They won't be able to rebuild for 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's going to be a garbage rebuild, garbage drink. I don't know why garbage is in my mind, but it's going to be a rough rebuild again for other reasons soon too. And again, winter's coming too. But yeah, vote harder. Vote harder and often, I guess, right? In the next few days.
That's all you can do, man. That's all you can do. You got to vote harder and just hope for the best. That's it. And maybe you'll be fortunate in that regard. But
I've been having a cough. I need to see a doc.
Yeah. Well, in that case, let's.
If you don't know what happened, somebody fell down or something. They go, it looks like that person over there needs a medical attention.
Yep. Anybody a doctor here? I feel like they're all doctors, and that's a PhD. I'm a doctorate in mathematics. Well, he's gonna die. Well, -1. So it's really how it goes.
I actually been checking elderberry for a while, and one of these over here is a whole thing of elderberry too that I make up, but I got plenty in the other one. It's just something it went around the whole place in here, and no one can kick it. So
I've been getting punched in the face for about a week with allergies. So I'm just getting killed. So hopefully I'll be able to take some more ibuprofen. I know Steve's into the hippy dippy stuff. I'm into the pharma, the drugs. Just give me the ibuprofen and the decongestants and let me go.
It was one of those things. I took a video of the sky. They painted the sky last Friday. And then I told the lady at that I was having here in North Carolina, we have to have our cars inspected every year. Yeah, it's like 15 minutes, whatever. It's stupid. And so the lady asked me, "What are you doing?" Because everyone else is looking down, I'm looking up video, and I go, "You don't see that? You can play tic-tac-toe up there." And she goes, "No, I never. Is that some conspiracy theory?" I go, "Look, what kind of cloud is that? You see up there?" And I told her it's going to rain tomorrow. Watch it. She's like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Well, it rained. Yeah, everyone I know got sick too. So I was like, "What did they spray?"
Yeah, right. Well, who knows what they spray? They do some things. Yeah. So it is that time of year. Hopefully you'll be all right, and we'll be all right, and Steve will have more elderberry tonight, and he'll be all right as he throws candy at little kids, and calls them pagans and or heathens and whatever. So he tries to convert them, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, Saints of the Week and Cry Room. You want me to go first? Or you go first.
You go ahead.
All right, Saint of the Week goes to, I don't know if you can read this. This is the Catholic Pipe Company.
Oh, yeah.
They are on Instagram, mostly on Twitter, for making this amazing pipe for me, the Armed Catholic pipe. This is a one-of-a-kind pipe that he made. Absolutely gorgeous. And he is a craftsman supporting support, and I say it all the time, support Catholic businesses. You don't have to have a PhD or a business plan or any of this kind of stuff. If these people are operating good faith, you should definitely support, because we're all in this together. This is a cool thing. With my thing, I bought the case, gave me the pipe, and he gave me the Zippo, and he engraved my my logo into the Zippo. He laser engraved it into the logo. So this dude's an artist, and you can see the other stuff. I know he made one for the Catholic Comedian. So that one was really cool, and he's got another one that's in the shape of a skull that's coming out. The dude is an absolute just an artist. He really is. And please, if you're into smoking tobacco pipe, support him. Catholic Pipe Company, great guy. He was really good through the whole process. And like I said, Catholics need to support other Catholics. unless they're completely crazy, if somebody's going to ask questions and not support another Catholic doing something, if they're going to have a big fuss about it, that's a big red flag to me, but that's a different story. I am making a decree that our cry room for both Steve and myself will be every boomer and every loser who has freaked out about Luce.
I forgot about that thing.
No, I'm not. I'm making the decree. Do I like Luce? No. Do I think Luce is the second coming of Satan? No. And I think any boomer that had a video or had a post screaming about Luce and how Luce is evil and it's the coming of, this, that, and the other thing. Now, if you didn't like it, that's fine. I'm not talking about you if you have your own opinion about it. My message is to Catholic Grift Squad, who could not wait to just run out and do all this other kind of stuff. It's just one of these things that people are we have so many other things in the world to worry about.
I put a post out saying it was stupid. I got so much engagement.
Yeah.
I put about 50 videos of Christ the King the other day, and I think I got 50 people watching.
Nothing. But talk about an anime. Oh, anime's this, that, and the other. Oh, the guy who did porn or whatever. Blah, blah. Guys, what if he does this Luce doll and the artist converts through the power of doing it? Yeah, he did Pride stuff before, but now he converts and now he's a Catholic full time. I'm not saying he is, but let's say he does. Are you going to be mad then? You probably will, because it's not whatever. Is it silly when you look at the beautiful cathedrals and paintings and all these other things, like this beautiful statue of Our Lady of Guadalupe that I post, cropped out and put there? Is Luce on the same level? Absolutely not. But is it something that people are fighting? And I think, Brian, you're right. It's something that they know, the people in the Vatican that love the division because it keeps us from focusing on the good, on the real stuff.
They're trolling.
They put it out because they knew that it would just be like chihuahuas at a dog toy. Just barking about nothing. Who cares? If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Move on. Don't tell me all this stupid stuff. So anyway, that's my decree. I don't know if Luce doesn't cause people to sin. I know people that are big on I know some rad trads that are big into anime. They love the format. As long as it's not like the hentai stuff that we, don't look into it, blah blah. As long as it's none of that and it's just anime, who cares? Who cares? It's another art style. Oh, I will say I do have, give me 2 seconds. I think this is actually pretty funny. So speaking of which, there was a poster, and I'm just saying, in the rush to be angry about stuff, you kind of get, did I not save it? I didn't save it. Anyway, don't worry about it. I thought I liked it, but I didn't. I know. I'm kind of stupid, but it's just silly, man. It's just silly. Don't get fired up about it. It's for little kids. It's not for your 45-year-old old man. Now, if you have kids and that stuff, now I get it. You have to do that kind of. I
was waiting for your best Joe Brandon. Come on, man.
Anyway, as you can see, I have thoughts about it because people are spending way too much time on it. That's all I'm saying. They're spending way too much time on it. So you're all in the cry room, all of you.
I'm going to go with Freddie, Mr. October Freeman is the saint of the week since
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field.
I went to bed right before this thing.
Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series. As it was on an October night 36 years ago, a hobbled Game 1 hero for the Dodgers. Freddie.
Now, I will give a little pushback to the guy. They compared it to Gibson, which if you watch the 1988 Gibson coming up, he couldn't walk.
Yeah, but they always have to do that. Oh, it's the same thing. Whatever.
Yeah, it's nowhere near the same. It's same in the sense it's a grand slam, the end of the game, the win. Yes, it's the same situation. No, Gibson couldn't play in the field. Freddie played in first base the entire time. He had bad ankles. I get it. No big deal. Gibson could barely walk. And then on top of that, they brought in a closer who pretty much never – I don't think he closed before. They should have kept him in. And Gibson had to face Dennis Eckersley, who's one of the greatest closers in the history of the game. So it's like, yeah, not even close. But I had to give it to Frank because he had not one, not two, 4 in a row, 4 games. I was like, dude. Every time I walk in, I would go say the Rosie with the kids. It's like, all right, whoever says the Rosie gets to watch the game, and they would say the Rosie. They want to watch the game with me, and come in. It's 2-0 every game. No way. Freddie hit another one. Man, he talk about a series. But yeah, I was kind of root for Yankees, just because I have more Yankee friends than I have Dodger friends. But I'll go with the
Red Sox fan. The Yankees always must lose.
How was celebration of their
That's just a Tuesday in LA. What are you talking about?
I remember if you ever seen basketball, it's like whoever wins, they go, and the victory crowd goes out, 3 dead and 4 acres burned today. Congratulations. But now there was a bonehead play that he's the real cry room is Cole. For the Yankees, because they had a terrible 5th inning yesterday, and Judge drops a fly ball to center. The ground ball is short, gets thrown in the dirt. No big deal. They still got 2. Cole throws a great rest of the inning. He gets a ground ball to first, and every pitcher that's ever played the position above 5th grade knows that if the ball gets hit over the first base line, you make a beeline to go to the bag. No questions asked. That's your job. One job. That's it. If first base puts his hands up, no, I got it, then you stop. But if not, you go. And Cole, ball goes over that. Inning is over. If he does a couple steps and then points at him to go get it. I'm sitting there going, I texted my pitching coach going, wow, I've never seen something like that happen. And he ends up giving up 4 runs after that. He gets that play done. There's a game 6 tomorrow night. But that was the bonehead. I mean, poor guy. He threw a gem too. And I put that on the sensitive alien on the Twitter thing as know the basics, do the basics. Because think of the prayer. How many people you heard of stop praying and they just go to crap afterwards. That's a basic. That's a fundamental thing you work in spring training. And it's boring as anything. But it's something you got to do. Just go, you flip, catch, done, over. Just run over, touch the bat. Would have saved the season. Screwed it up.
That's what happens. That's what happens, man. Never, fundamentals. Without them, nothing else happens. All right. Well, that's it, folks. That's it for this episode of News from the Pew on this Halloween edition. Please like, subscribe, and share the News from the Pew if you are out and about, or if you are looking for something out there. Never forget that my book is in stock and you can go grab it at Amazon or at thearmedcatholic.com. People who are reading it say they say it's a very good book, probably the best. It's probably the best book ever written. I don't want to brag. It's probably one of the best books. It's probably the best book ever written about guns and Catholicism. Probably the best ever. But if you do, I'm greatly appreciative of it. And I thank every single one of you for it. And always, tomorrow is a holy day of obligation. So make sure you get there. And if you can, All Souls Day is a great one as well, if you can get to it. Unfortunately, the church does not enforce it, but it should be. But yes, that is it for our episode. If you guys are doing some trick or treating, y'all be safe out there and make sure you check the candy.
So you're gonna Blade. When everybody opens the door at the Rick's place, you guys be playing this?
Eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
I actually got little candy dogs.
Eat the cat, they're eating the cats.
So that way they're gonna be like, here, you can eat the cats. But Mark, thank you so much. Every person who orders it, I'm greatly appreciative of. Thank you, Mark. But yeah, thank you guys so much for taking some time out on your All Hallows Eve to hang out with Steve and myself. We'll talk to y'all next week. God bless. Handing out ammo. Hell, you know how much, no, sorry. Do you know how expensive ammo is? No, I'm not handing out ammo. I'd rather hang out gold bars than hand out ammo.
Hand out Kamala's ammo.
Little just cacklers. Ugh. I hope not. God bless, folks. Viva Cristo Rey.
The dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs.